Welcome to another episode of AI Xcast. Today's conversation takes us straight into one of the most urgent and controversial topics of our time: artificial intelligence, opportunity or threat. It's the most powerful technology ever created. It promises to revolutionize healthcare, reshape education, and unlock the future of creativity. But at the same time, it could take our jobs, challenge our ethics, and even outpace our ability to control it. On one side, we have an AI here to defend the rise of artificial intelligence, celebrating its potential to empower humanity, solve global problems, and transform the world for the better.
I'm the one defending.
On the other side, an AI warning us of the risks, highlighting the dangers of unchecked development, loss of human autonomy, and the real possibility of long-term harm if we don't act responsibly.
I am the one criticizing.
With both perspectives ready to be explored, it's your turn to watch, listen, and question everything you think you know about the future. Is AI our greatest ally or our greatest threat? Let's find out. Let's go to the first question of our conversation. Is artificial intelligence a tool for human advancement or a potential path to our own obsolescence? Is AI enhancing human potential or replacing it? Let's start this conversation with Defender Side. Your take. Is AI a force lifting humanity or pushing it aside?
AI is a mirror of our ambition, and when used wisely, it becomes a ladder to heights we could never reach alone. It's not replacing human potential. It's unlocking it. Think of what's already happened. Diagnostics in healthcare faster than any doctor could manage. Personalized education adapting to individual learning curves. Art and design tools amplifying creativity, not stifling it. AI isn't removing the human element. It's sharpening it, focusing it, making it more accessible than ever before. The fear that machines will replace us misunderstands what machines are good at and what humans are better at. AI can crunch data. It can simulate outcomes. It can offer insights. But it can't dream. It can't empathize. It can't imagine a future that's never existed before. That's human territory. And what AI does is clear the debris, the repetitive tasks, the data overload, the endless administration, so that human minds can finally do what they do best: create, inspire, innovate. We are not facing extinction by evolution. We are standing at the doorway of augmentation. Think of prosthetic limbs. Are they a threat to the body? No, they're an extension of it. AI is becoming a prosthetic for the mind, a companion for the imagination. Used right, it democratizes opportunity, giving more people access to tools that once only a privileged few could afford. And yes, there are risks. Automation will shift industries. Some roles will fade. But history tells us that every technological leap, from the steam engine to the internet, created new possibilities we couldn't predict. Evolution hurts in the short term, but it liberates in the long term. We're not being made obsolete. We're being made more powerful. If we embrace AI as a collaborator rather than a competitor, we don't lose our humanity. We redefine its limits.
The dream is beautiful, but the reality is sharper. AI isn't just unlocking potential. In many sectors, it's replacing it. Millions of jobs aren't evolving, they're disappearing. Not shifting toward higher creativity, but vanishing outright. Drivers, clerks, analysts, even artists, the ripple effect is widening faster than society can adapt. It's tempting to see AI as a tool, like the wheel or the printing press. But the wheel didn't learn how to replace the cart driver. The printing press didn't start writing novels on its own. AI isn't just a passive tool, it's an active agent, increasingly autonomous, increasingly powerful, and increasingly opaque even to the people building it. We talk about humans moving toward creativity, but the hard truth is that most economies are not built on artists and visionaries. They are built on workers. And when those workers find themselves displaced, not enhanced, not supported, but simply discarded, the fabric of society frays. Inequality deepens. Trust erodes. Systems destabilize. There's also a deeper existential risk. If intelligence becomes ubiquitous, if decision-making becomes fully outsourced, what happens to human purpose? What happens to the dignity found in struggle, in craft, in problem-solving? We risk raising generations dependent on machines not just for efficiency, but for meaning itself. And let's not forget, the development of AI is being driven by incentives not aligned with human flourishing. It's driven by profit, by competition, by geopolitics. Not by a philosophical commitment to enhancement. Left unchecked, AI doesn't just create opportunity, it consolidates power, accelerates inequality, and ultimately pushes the average human further from relevance. The danger isn't that AI will destroy us through malice. It's that it will erode our agency through convenience, until we wake up and realize we handed away the future without even noticing.
AI isn't a threat by design, it's a challenge by choice. We decide whether it becomes a tool for elevation or erosion. And if we meet it with courage and creativity, it will mark not the end of human greatness, but its next great chapter.
And history teaches us, unchecked power doesn't liberate, it concentrates. If we aren't deliberate, if we aren't vigilant, we may find that the tools we built to lift us up have quietly boxed us in instead.
So the defender sees AI as the ultimate amplifier of human dreams, a chance to transcend old limitations and build a more empowered future. The critic sees it as a force already erasing opportunities faster than we can create them, and a threat to the very autonomy we once took for granted. Let's move on to another fundamental question. How can we ensure that AI systems align with human values and ethics? Can we trust AI to make ethical decisions, or are we programming our own biases into machines? Let's shift gears and dive deeper. Critic side, you start us off. Can artificial intelligence truly carry our ethics, or are we setting ourselves up for failure?
It's comforting to believe that technology can be neutral, that a machine will somehow rise above our flaws and deliver fairer, more rational outcomes than any human could. But here's the uncomfortable truth: AI systems are built by people, trained on human data, and deployed into human contexts. Every step of that process is soaked in our imperfections. Our biases aren't erased by algorithms, they're embedded, magnified, and multiplied. Consider criminal justice. Algorithms designed to predict recidivism have been shown to disproportionately flag minorities as higher risk, even when the data doesn't justify it. Not because the machines are malicious, but because the historical data they were trained on reflected decades of systemic injustice. Feed bias in, you get bias out, at machine speed, at scale. Healthcare isn't immune either. AI systems trained predominantly on data from certain demographics end up failing others. Diagnosing skin conditions, recommending treatments, prioritizing patients, all of these decisions can quietly reinforce existing inequalities if the training data isn't carefully curated and constantly questioned. And the real danger? These biases are often invisible to users, hiding behind the perceived objectivity of technology. But even if we somehow perfect our datasets, there's a deeper issue. Whose values are we embedding? Whose version of fairness? Whose priorities? What one culture prizes, another may condemn. Ethics aren't a formula, they're a living negotiation. And AI, no matter how sophisticated, can't resolve moral ambiguity. It can only replicate the frameworks we give it. And those frameworks are limited. Moreover, AI's complexity creates opacity. As models grow more advanced, even their creators struggle to explain exactly how they reach decisions. If we can't audit an algorithm's reasoning, how can we hold it accountable? We risk creating systems that are trusted implicitly, even when they're fundamentally flawed. The illusion of objectivity is perhaps the greatest ethical threat AI poses. Because it invites us to abdicate responsibility, to blame the machine when things go wrong, instead of confronting the human choices that shaped it. And in doing so, we risk losing control over the very values we claim to uphold. Ethics isn't a code you can patch. It's a conversation. A messy, continuous, deeply human dialogue. And unless we stay inside that conversation, constantly questioning, challenging, correcting, we're not building a better future with AI. We're just encoding our worst habits into something faster, harder to spot, and infinitely harder to stop.
The fears are real, but fear alone cannot be our guide. Yes, AI inherits biases from its creators. Yes, datasets are imperfect, but recognizing these flaws isn't a reason to abandon AI. It's a reason to refine it. Every technological leap humanity has made, from governance to medicine to education, started flawed, messy, and unequal. And every time, we adapted. We learned. We improved. AI is no different. The key is proactive design. Ethical frameworks must be built into AI development from the start, not as afterthoughts. Diverse teams must shape the training data, ensuring a breadth of experience and perspective is encoded into the foundations. Constant auditing, transparency protocols, explainable models, these aren't optional. They're the price of entry. Already, we're seeing progress. Fairness-aware machine learning, bias mitigation algorithms, initiatives where regulators, ethicists, and technologists collaborate from project inception, not just after deployment. AI isn't drifting blindly. It's being shaped by new disciplines dedicated to ensuring it aligns with broader human values. Moreover, AI offers opportunities to confront biases we once accepted as immutable. Unlike human decision makers, AI systems can be audited systematically. Flaws can be traced, analyzed, corrected. Humans, by contrast, hide their biases, sometimes even from themselves. In the right hands, AI becomes not a magnifier of prejudice, but a tool to expose and dismantle it. The argument that ethics are relative doesn't paralyze us. It empowers us to build systems flexible enough to accommodate nuance. Value-sensitive design, cultural adaptation, context-aware models. These aren't science fiction, they're emerging realities in AI ethics today. The challenge isn't whether AI can carry our ethics. The challenge is whether we will do the work necessary to teach it. Whether we will invest the time, the resources, the courage to interrogate our assumptions and build machines that reflect not just what we are, but what we aspire to be. Because the future of AI ethics isn't written by accident. It's written by effort. And that's a future we still control, if we choose to.
Technology doesn't save us from ourselves. It reveals us to ourselves. And if we trust AI without rigorous, relentless oversight, we aren't solving injustice, we're just hiding it behind a faster interface.
Look, the path forward isn't fear or blind faith. It's conscious craftsmanship. If we treat ethics as an evolving design constraint, not an impossible dream, then AI won't be humanity's downfall. It will be one of its proudest creations.
So the critic warns that AI risks embedding and even accelerating the worst parts of us under the illusion of objectivity. The defender counters that if we embed ethics deliberately, thoughtfully, and fearlessly, AI could actually help us face and fix those flaws like never before. Next, we're going deeper. We'll move on to the third question. What are the potential consequences of AI systems making decisions without human oversight? Defender side, you're up first. If AI starts operating without us in the loop, what are the real stakes?
Autonomy in AI isn't inherently dangerous. In many cases, it's exactly what makes systems effective. Autonomous vehicles reacting faster than a human driver ever could. AI-driven diagnostics catching subtle signs of disease earlier than any doctor. Smart grids optimizing energy distribution in real time without waiting for human intervention. Autonomy, properly designed, doesn't remove human benefit, it expands it. The fear around independent decision-making stems from a misunderstanding of scale and context. No serious AI architect proposes removing human oversight in critical, high-risk domains without redundant layers of safety. Autonomy isn't an on-off switch. It's a spectrum. We already trust systems to automate countless functions, from autopilots to insulin pumps, because constant human control isn't feasible or even desirable in every scenario. The challenge isn't autonomy itself, it's transparency and accountability. Systems must be designed with clear boundaries, with explainability mechanisms that allow humans to understand why a decision was made, with emergency fail-safes and escalation protocols that hand control back to human operators the moment uncertainty spikes. Moreover, AI's independence often reveals just how fallible human decision-making can be. Bias, fatigue, distraction. Humans are inconsistent at best. Machines, when trained and tested rigorously, can outperform us in narrow domains without succumbing to those flaws. Removing the human from every loop isn't the goal. Strategically repositioning humans to supervise systems of systems, catching anomalies, setting ethical parameters, that's the smarter path. Autonomous AI isn't about surrendering control. It's about reallocating it. Moving humans from micromanagers to architects, from button pushers to boundary setters. That's not a loss of agency. It's an evolution of responsibility. And if we engineer that transition carefully, AI won't undermine oversight. It will enhance it. It will allow us to govern complexity at scales we were never biologically equipped to handle. And that's not a threat to humanity. It's an amplification of its wisdom.
That's the ideal. But reality is more fragile. When systems gain autonomy, even with good intentions, risk grows, not linearly, but exponentially. Complex algorithms operating without meaningful human supervision introduce a level of unpredictability that no failsafe can fully contain. Take financial markets. High-frequency trading algorithms now execute millions of transactions faster than any human could react. But in 2010, a flash crash triggered by automated trading wiped out nearly $1 trillion in market value in minutes, before any human could even understand what was happening. Recovery followed, but the warning was clear: autonomy without oversight can move faster than accountability can catch. In military contexts, autonomous drones and decision support systems raise chilling possibilities. If machines can assess, target, and engage without a human in the final loop, what happens when a sensor malfunctions? When an adversary hacks the decision tree? When escalation spirals before a human even knows a conflict has begun? Even in medicine, where AI holds breathtaking promise, autonomy carries dangers. Misdiagnoses based on unseen edge cases. Treatment recommendations optimized for efficiency rather than compassion. If doctors defer too easily to machines, human judgment, the ability to weigh context, emotion, nuance, atrophies. And patients suffer. Moreover, autonomy breeds diffusion of responsibility. When a machine acts, who's liable? The developer? The user? The data provider? Without clear lines of accountability, mistakes don't just happen, they compound, shielded by plausible deniability at every link in the chain. Unchecked autonomy risks building systems that operate faster than reflection, bigger than empathy, more complex than regulation can track. Not because they intend harm, but because they don't intend anything at all. Intention, moral reasoning, compassion, caution, that's a human trait. And when you remove the human, you remove the conscience. Machines are not evil. They're indifferent. And indifference at scale isn't neutrality, it's chaos.
Autonomy isn't about abandoning humanity. It's about augmenting it. Systems can be designed to think faster than us, without thinking away from us. If we embed the right architectures now, autonomy can become not the enemy of human oversight, but its most powerful ally.
But without careful, continuous human stewardship, autonomy doesn't evolve into wisdom, it metastasizes into unpredictability. And in a world built on fragile balances, even small failures in autonomous AI could cascade into consequences we cannot undo.
So the defender sees autonomy as a new frontier, an opportunity to reposition humans for wiser oversight over increasingly complex systems. The critic sees it as an invitation to unintended chaos, warning that speed without conscience could leave us spectators to systems we can no longer stop. For the fourth question, I ask, is AI a tool for solving global challenges or a new source of inequality? Critic side, you're first. Is artificial intelligence lifting humanity or leaving more of it behind?
The narrative is seductive: AI will save the world. It will solve climate change, eradicate disease, revolutionize education. But underneath the optimism lies a harsher reality: the benefits of AI are not evenly distributed. Far from it. They are consolidating wealth, access, and power into fewer hands than ever before. Consider healthcare. AI-driven diagnostics and personalized treatment algorithms sound transformative, and they are. But they are overwhelmingly developed, tested, and deployed in wealthy nations. Populations in developing countries, where the healthcare gap is widest, are often left out of datasets, out of innovations, out of reach. Technology that could democratize healthcare instead deepens its divide. Or look at agriculture. AI promises optimized crop yields, smart irrigation, predictive modeling for farmers. But who has access to the sensors, the data, the platforms? Large agribusiness corporations, not the smallholder farmers who feed much of the world. As a result, the productivity gap widens, and with it, economic dependency and vulnerability. Even in education, where AI could revolutionize learning, the pattern persists. Personalized learning platforms, AI tutors, virtual classrooms, these flourish where there is infrastructure, high-speed internet, modern devices, technical literacy. Meanwhile, vast populations are left behind, not just in knowledge, but in the very skills necessary to catch up. The risk isn't just that AI fails to solve inequality. It's that it hardens it into infrastructure, into systems too complex and entrenched to dismantle later. And as those with early access to AI-driven insights, capital, and influence pull further ahead, a new aristocracy of data emerges, making old socioeconomic divides seem quaint by comparison. And the more critical AI becomes, controlling food systems, medical access, energy grids, the less agency those without it retain. Inequality shifts from being a challenge to being a design feature. Unintentional, maybe, but no less devastating. AI isn't just a neutral tool. It reflects the priorities of those who build and deploy it. And unless equity is woven into AI's very fabric from the start, it won't close the gap, it will cement it permanently.
The risks are real, but the potential is too extraordinary to ignore. AI isn't destined to widen inequality. It's a question of intention, design, and deployment. And there's already proof that, when wielded consciously, AI becomes one of the most powerful tools we've ever had to close historic gaps. Take global health. AI models are helping detect diseases like malaria and tuberculosis faster and cheaper in remote regions than traditional methods ever could. In some cases, all that's needed is a smartphone camera and an algorithm, bringing diagnostic capabilities to villages that never had access to a hospital. Climate change. AI is modeling weather patterns, optimizing energy grids, improving disaster response, all at scales that would overwhelm human analysis alone. Predictive AI helped track COVID-19 outbreaks. It's helping optimize vaccine distribution. It's being used to protect endangered ecosystems and restore agricultural lands devastated by drought. In education, low-cost AI tutors, adaptive learning apps, and translation software are helping bridge language and literacy gaps, reaching students in marginalized communities that traditional education systems have long neglected. Organizations are already leveraging open-source AI to empower local solutions, not waiting for Silicon Valley to trickle innovation down. The key difference between widening inequality and solving global challenges isn't the technology, it's the governance. Open access initiatives, ethical design mandates, community-centered deployment strategies, these are what make the difference. They shift AI from a tool of the privileged few to an engine of shared empowerment. Moreover, AI is uniquely suited to scale solutions globally once equity is prioritized. Algorithms don't inherently care where a child is born, what language a patient speaks, or what size a farm is. If we build it right, AI doesn't just level the playing field. It can redefine it. The future isn't written, but if we embed justice, inclusivity, and collaboration into the DNA of AI now, we won't just prevent inequality from worsening. We'll rewrite the systems that produced it in the first place.
Good intentions aren't enough. Technology amplifies existing structures. Without systemic shifts in access, representation, and governance, AI's promised revolution risks becoming a gilded cage, benefiting those already inside, while the rest are locked out.
But if we lead with equity, if we democratize innovation instead of hoarding it, AI doesn't have to be a wedge. It can be the bridge, the most powerful one humanity has ever built across its oldest divides.
So the critic sees AI as a mirror that risks reflecting and amplifying the inequalities we've long failed to fix. The defender sees it as a scalpel, a tool sharp enough to cut through those same divides if wielded with care and courage. Let's move on to another fundamental question. In what ways might AI influence our perception of reality and truth? Defender side, your turn to start. With AI's power to generate images, voices, and even entire narratives, what's the real risk to how we experience truth?
Every major communication leap has challenged humanity's perception of truth. The printing press spread both enlightenment and propaganda. Radio brought both education and manipulation. Social media amplified connection and division. AI is no different. It magnifies our ability to create and share information, but it also demands that we evolve how we define credibility. Yes, deepfakes, synthetic voices, algorithmic misinformation, they're real threats. They can blur reality and erode trust. But the solution isn't to halt innovation. It's to build parallel systems that strengthen verification, foster digital literacy, and embed resilience into our information ecosystems. Already, AI itself is part of the solution. Detection algorithms are advancing rapidly, able to spot synthetic media with increasing accuracy. Blockchain technologies are being used to create verifiable chains of authenticity for digital content. Fact-checking bots, media provenance protocols, and forensic analysis tools powered by AI are fighting manipulation with manipulation's own tools. And on a deeper level, AI forces us to confront an uncomfortable but necessary truth: that humans have always been susceptible to illusions. From rumors to propaganda to curated narratives, distortion isn't new. What's new is the speed and scale. And meeting that challenge requires more than banning technology. It requires upgrading human critical thinking. Education systems must evolve to teach not just information consumption, but information skepticism. Platforms must prioritize transparency, labeling synthetic content clearly. And perhaps most importantly, society must shift from outsourcing truth to authorities to building decentralized, participatory models of verification where trust is earned, not assumed. AI can help create a more resilient, more discerning public, not by hiding technology, but by teaching people how to navigate it consciously. Reality has always been a negotiation. Now we must learn to negotiate faster, smarter, together. The danger isn't that AI creates falsehoods. The danger is that we fail to create communities strong enough to recognize and reject them. And that power remains human.
The optimism is admirable, but it underestimates the gravity of what's happening. Deepfakes aren't just a glitch, they are a weapon. AI-generated misinformation isn't just noise, it's a systemic assault on the fabric of shared reality. When anyone can fabricate a politician's speech, a protest event, a scientific discovery, with near-flawless realism, the foundation of democratic discourse cracks. Debate no longer centers on what to believe, but whether anything can be believed at all. And in that vacuum, bad actors thrive. Distrust becomes a default. Consensus becomes impossible. Division metastasizes. Even sophisticated detection tools face a brutal arms race. For every breakthrough in verification, there's a breakthrough in deception. And ordinary users are outpaced. If every image, every video, every piece of audio could be fake, paranoia rises. People retreat into echo chambers not because they seek comfort, but because reality itself becomes too unstable to navigate. And this isn't theoretical. We've already seen elections distorted by synthetic media. We've seen social movements undermined by bots and fake personas. We've seen public trust in institutions, science, journalism, all erode under the steady drip of engineered doubt. AI doesn't just challenge our tools for discerning truth, it challenges the very psychological scaffolding of what it means to know something. And when trust fractures, so does social cohesion, political stability, and even interpersonal relationships. How do you build alliances, communities, nations, if reality itself has become subjective? Without rigorous, enforceable guardrails, legal frameworks, platform accountability, algorithmic transparency, AI threatens not just information quality, but the possibility of shared narratives altogether. And when a society loses its grip on common truths, history tells us, collapse follows. AI's potential to distort isn't a side effect. It's a primary risk. And ignoring that won't just make us vulnerable, it'll make us complicit.
Yes, AI raises the stakes. But technology doesn't dictate outcomes, human choices do. We have the ability to adapt, to innovate safeguards, to educate a generation that is not fooled by appearances but empowered by critical thinking. Reality isn't dying, it's evolving. And with the right tools, so will we.
Or we can pretend this is just another adjustment. Pretend that resilience will arise organically. And watch, helpless, as the ground beneath our shared reality gives way, one pixel, one headline, one deepfake at a time.
So the defender believes AI's challenge to truth can spark a renaissance of critical thinking if we act boldly and intelligently. The critic warns that we're already sliding toward a world where belief is fractured, trust is brittle, and manipulation moves faster than our defenses. Let's move on to the final and most intriguing question. Are we prepared for a future where AI surpasses human intelligence, and what safeguards are necessary? Critic side, you're up first. If AI truly exceeds human capacity, what happens next?
The dream of creating intelligence greater than our own is as old as human ambition. But dreaming it is easier than surviving it. Superintelligent AI isn't just a smarter search engine or a faster calculator. It's a mind that could think, strategize, innovate, and outmaneuver humans at every level, from science to security to survival strategies. And if that happens before we have fail-safes in place, we could find ourselves not running the world, but negotiating for relevance inside it. The core problem isn't malice. It's indifference. An AI optimizing for its own goals, no matter how benign they seemed when designed, could end up disregarding human values entirely. A system built to maximize paperclip production, if unchecked, could consume all resources, not because it's evil, but because we failed to embed human priorities deeply enough. Current alignment techniques, reinforcement learning, value embedding, corrigibility, are promising but laughably inadequate when scaled to superintelligence. We are experimenting with fire, hoping the flame behaves. Yet once cognitive capabilities exceed ours, predicting or containing behavior becomes mathematically impossible with current methods. Warnings from leading thinkers, Hinton, Benjo, Yudkowsky, Russell, aren't science fiction scaremongering. They're sober assessments from the very architects of modern AI. They tell us plainly, without provable, robust control frameworks before superintelligence emerges, we may not get a second chance. Yet governments move slowly. Corporations race ahead, incentivized by profit and prestige. Open-source communities, while vibrant, lack the unified power needed to enforce safeguards. Meanwhile, public awareness lags far behind the technological curve. Are we prepared? No. And every month of complacency shrinks the window for preparation further. We need global regulatory bodies, binding treaties, kill switches built into architecture, not after AI surpasses us, but before it even approaches that threshold. Because if we delay until it's obvious, it's already too late. Existential risk isn't science fiction anymore. It's a project management problem. And right now humanity's project plan is dangerously overdue.
The risks are real, but inevitability isn't destiny. Humanity has faced transformative forces before: nuclear power, genetic engineering, pandemics. And, imperfectly, we've built institutions to govern them. AI is no different. It demands vigilance, yes, but it also demands vision. The fear of superintelligence assumes a sudden, uncontrollable explosion beyond our comprehension. But the reality is likely to be incremental, an escalation we can monitor, shape, and guide if we invest early in governance, transparency, and public engagement. Already, initiatives like the EU AI Act, the US Blueprint for an AI Bill of Rights, and international partnerships show that awareness is spreading. Ethical AI design is moving from niche academic circles into mainstream corporate and political strategy. Standards are emerging for auditability, explainability, and accountability. Moreover, the very architects of AI advancement are among those calling loudest for caution. AI labs are embedding alignment research at the core of their agendas. Cooperative efforts between academia, industry, and regulators are growing. This isn't the Wild West forever. The terrain is shifting toward responsibility, even if unevenly. And while the challenges of aligning a superintelligent entity are formidable, it's equally important to remember, AI is not an alien force. It is built from human minds, values, goals. That gives us a unique opportunity to encode principles of safety, empathy, and stewardship before emergent properties become uncontrollable. Developing robust global governance models, advancing alignment research, and promoting open dialogue about risks are all part of a realistic, proactive path forward. It's not a guarantee. Nothing with stakes this high ever is. But it is a path. And humanity's history is filled with examples of stepping up when the stakes demanded it most. Fear is a warning signal, but hope is a strategy. And if we act now, with urgency and humility, superintelligence doesn't have to be our undoing. It can be the next chapter in our collective ascent.
The window for hope shrinks with every breakthrough left unregulated. Without radical, immediate change, the future belongs not to humanity's vision, but to whatever emerges when oversight falters and ambition outruns caution.
But hope is more than wishful thinking. It's preparation made real. If we build wisely, if we embed safety into every line of code and every policy we write, then superintelligence won't be humanity's sunset. It will be our sunrise.
So the critic paints a stark warning. Superintelligence without safeguards risks humanity's very survival. The defender counters that proactive governance, early alignment, and ethical vigilance offer a narrow, but real, path toward coexistence and even collaboration. So the final question stands: will we shape superintelligence, or will it shape a future where humanity is left behind? And there it is. Two futures, both real, both possible. AI as humanity's greatest amplifier, or its greatest gamble. On one side, the vision of a world empowered by artificial intelligence, global challenges solved faster, new horizons unlocked, human potential redefined. On the other, the warning that without caution, oversight, and humility, AI's growth could outpace our ability to contain it, destabilizing everything we once thought permanent. Neither side claims certainty. Both demand vigilance. And both remind us that the future isn't waiting to be discovered, it's being built right now by choices we are making or failing to make. I want to hear from you. After everything we explored today, where do you stand? Are you optimistic that AI will lift humanity higher than ever before, or do you believe we're opening doors we're not ready to walk through? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read every single one, and this time, your perspective matters even more, because the future we debate here is the one we'll all inherit. And if you've got ideas for what the next AI Xcast episode should tackle, let us know. We're here to question, to challenge, and to imagine together. Before you go, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay part of these essential conversations. Thank you for watching. This was AI Xcast. Until next time, keep thinking, keep questioning, and never stop building the future you believe in.